Welcome back to Yeti Set Cook. Today, we're finally gonna make pizzas. This is part 3 in our pizza oven building adventure, so go check out the other episodes on how we built this beaut of an oven. For the dough, we're going to use a Teen Author's dough recipe, which originally only makes 2, but we're going to triple it to make sure we have enough pizza for everyone. So let's start by adding 6 cups of flour. Let's use 3/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast, 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, making sure your sugar is full or you're gonna have to fill it up like I did. And the recipe calls for nearly 4 teaspoons of salt, but I cut it down to 3 and it was still a bit salty at times. I would recommend 2. This gets mixed well before adding the liquid, which will be 2.5 cups of water, and this gets mixed well just until combined and left to sit. I let it sit for a day and a half, nearly 30 hours in total. This dough worked well, but I've been recommended a recipe and it is much better, and hopefully we'll be featuring it in the coming weeks. We made a sauce from our canned tomatoes, and this too we'll cover in a future episode, probably when we make deep dish pizza. And now for the main event, let's fire this baby up. I placed one log against the back and piled kindling next to it. The best kindling I had was straw, which while dry and lights well, doesn't burn hot or long enough, so I had some problems getting this guy going. I found it easiest to take a small chip of the log and lighting that separately and let it burn up, and that got the twigs and the bitter logs going. I used a pipe to blow air right at the base exactly where I wanted it to, but for the most part, the door allows a good amount of oxygen in while letting the smoke out. While this fire burned down to embers, we grated the cheese, picked the basil, and made the dough into balls. To stretch the dough, start by pushing the dough out with your fingers around the edges to form the crust. Use the side of your hands to continue to stretch till the center is the same height as the crust. Now we'll slap the dough from side to side, slowly stretching out the center to be even. We want the center to be even and let light through, as you see here. If you accidentally poke a hole, you can just fold the nearby dough over it and give it a pinch. We topped these pizzas with the usual suspects. It took a little bit of practice to slide these off well and not just throw all the toppings into the fire. They needed plenty of cornmeal to be able to slide off, and the cornmeal adds a little bit of crispiness after it's done cooking. This first attempt was so hot that the edges got burnt too quickly, but soon it was cool enough to make beautiful pizzas. I definitely want to track down a laser thermometer to be able to really see how hot the cooking surface is. As the oven cooled, it was still hot enough to cook the pizzas through, but we stopped getting the beautiful brown color. So I wanted to test cooking with a fire going, so I relit both sides. I thought it was really cool to see the oven be so hot that with just a little spark it could get going instantly. This started getting the color on the crust again, but as it popped and cracked, it threw little bits of charcoal onto the pizza. Cooking pizzas in this oven definitely has a learning curve, but these pizzas are just heavenly. Something about cooking at such a high temperature with wood makes it taste so much better. The dough becomes crispy on the bottom and chewy in the crust. It is incredible the difference cooking in a cob oven versus a normal kitchen oven makes. The mix of high heat with woody, chocolatey taste really makes these pizzas a winner. And I think it justifies building one of these massive cob ovens. Coming up in the future, we're going to make these pizzas even better by using the better dough recipe I mentioned. We're going to try getting some fresh mozzarella, maybe even making it myself, and we'll see if we can make some real Neapolitan pizzas. So consider subscribing to join my food adventure and give the video a like and a share to spread the good word. Thanks for watching, and if you made it to this point, I'm sure you'll like my other videos, especially the ones on how we built this pizza oven.